get started?
Oh my gosh, since I was a little kid, so probably don't move. It would be easily 25 years, I suppose. I started with that rubber band guitar made out of a Kleenex box with a ruler stick stuck in the end of it, and a couple rubber bands. But my parents were very musical. My parents both played in band when they were in high school, so music was always around our house. But my parents kind of gave us the option of what we wanted to do when we were younger, and I loved to sing and got to go down to the Metrodome and sing for a Twins game, the national anthem, when I was like 7 years old, and that was pretty neat experience. That kind of lit the flame for wanting to perform, being in front of I think I was in front of like 50,000 people or something. Pretty neat. And then my parents kind of asked me if I wanted to do sports or take piano lessons, and we had a piano, so piano lessons kind of started the concrete of playing music, and then I taught myself how to play guitar off those little tiny tabs on top of my piano music, and so I just kind of taught myself how to play right off of my own piano music, and then kind of quit playing piano altogether, but I still use it to get my song ideas, and the concrete of my song comes from the piano. I can plunk out ideas, but it's kind of where it all started. It was, most of my musical stuff has all been accidental, like playing guitar, the style of guitar I play, it's all been accidental, and recording was accidental. I had been playing in a cover band for a couple of years in high school, and then I went to a folk festival when I was 15, and I saw what you could do with an acoustic instrument, and I really liked it. And I had about 15 songs written that I never had played for anybody, and I saw that other people were playing those types of songs to thousands of people, and they were listening. People were listening to this music. So I started writing my own music, and where the accident happened, where there was some friends of mine in high school, Brian Miller, Eric Carlson, had produced this CD when they were 17, 18 years old. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that I knew somebody that had made a CD. And I took it to a friend of mine one evening, and we were just listening to their CD, and he always asked me to bring my guitar. He'd always say, "Bring your axe," is what he would say when we got together, and he always wanted to hear me play. And that night I happened to play a couple songs and show him the CD, and he asked me what it would take to record my own album. I didn't think I could do it, and I couldn't afford it. And not many people know this, but he wrote me a check that night to send me to the studio. And so it was never planned. It just, he believed in me. I didn't believe in me, but he did. And that's where it all started. And once I got the taste of recording my own music and producing it, it was amazing when people would actually buy your CD and listen to it. So it was all accidental, but a beautiful accident, I think. Playing in the cities, I moved there for college when I was 18. I went for a degree in electronics, and I love to tinker with electrical things. So I was playing shows at Dunn Brothers coffee houses. I played every coffee shop that would let me in the door. I'd play a couple hours on Friday and Saturday night, and they paid me in coffee beans. I literally had like 50 pounds of coffee in my freezer at one time, I think. And there was a guy that came up to me after one of my shows right on the Hennepin Dunn Brothers, Hennepin Avenue. And he said, "You should take your show on the road. You should go play other places." And I just said, "Okay," and didn't think much of it. And I looked into it, and it wasn't that hard. So I booked a tour that summer and went and played, I think, 45 shows in like 30 days or something. I forget what it was, but I booked this tour that took me all over the Midwest. And I realized that you could make a living at it. At that time, I could. It was more lucrative, and people were, at that time, the coffee houses were really happening. And so, for about 2.5 years, that's all I did. After I got out of college, it was handed my degree from college. I grabbed it, I got a handshake and a photo, and I ran out the door and got in a car and to get to the airport. And my first show was in Denver, Colorado. I'll never forget it that night. And I had to get on a plane and get to my show. And that's where my tour started. It never ended. It lasted forever. Took me all over the Midwest and a little bit to the West Coast, I guess. But good times. It was kind of like a European vacation that everybody used to, they go to Europe and backpack and travel. And that was my trip. It was just my little tour. Bought myself a minivan, and I was doing about 35,000 miles a year for touring, something like that. So it was good time. There is something. I've always felt like music is like riding a bike for me. You can take a break from it, and then when you get back on it, it just kind of comes natural. I'm lucky, I think, in those terms. But I do miss it. To make a living at it for me wasn't working for a while. It was getting to be really hard to have people make it to the shows. Tour support was hard to make it financially out there too. But I do miss it. It's that gypsy lifestyle is interesting when you had a show to get to every day. It was really fun. But the other thing is you had to sacrifice a family life, a home life. You weren't home. I was never home when I was on tour. I would miss everything. So it's a give take, you know. So I decided, well, you know, I can do both, and that's what brought me to not tour full time, still be able to record when I want to, play shows when I want to, and now luckily enough I'm able to have my own home recording studio where I can spend 12 hours on a Saturday just coming up with ideas. And there's something beautiful to me about being able to paint your own canvas, like right in your own environment, and be happy with what you're doing. So whether I'm playing shows, recording in a big studio, or doing interviews on radio, all those things that I've done, I'm just as happy playing at home than I am doing all that other stuff. I've always I had somebody ask me one time, they say, what kind of advice would you give to somebody just starting out? And I've always had the same answer for the last 20 years. You have to be your #1 fan. You do. You need to be able to sit in your living room or wherever your space is and love what you do. Love your instrument, whether it's guitar, drumming, singing, piano, whatever it could be. You need to love what you're doing more than anybody else, because then it's contagious. If you believe in what you're doing so much, everybody else is going to believe in it too. So I get just as much satisfaction playing in my living room to the Three Dogs than I do playing in front of 50 people, 500 people, or at the Metrodome I think 50,000 people. So to me it's all the same. It all comes from an instrument. Yeah, I had a small bucket list when I first started doing it. My first goal was I wanted to affect one person with my music. That was one goal, that I wanted to have somebody really be changed for the better because of something I did on the guitar. And I think I've had it happen a few times. People have sent emails or letters, whatever. But the one thing I really would like to do, and I was really close once, is to have my music be featured, not like on a major motion picture, but I mean that's kind of a, maybe a far bucket list, but just on like even an independent film. I've submitted a lot of stuff over the years that got really close, what I was told anyway, and I would love to have one of my songs play somewhere in a movie. Not the whole song, but maybe just a piece of it, or maybe at the credits or something. I think that would be pretty neat to have your song that you wrote be the right piece of music for the right film, and that's really what it takes. It has to be perfect to fit. But I had a song that almost made it to a movie that was taking place in California, and I had a song called Even If It Means California. It was this close, but I didn't get it. But someday, that'd be kind of cool. The song is called Something. Taking back a topic of conversation, taking back a moment in time. What we hear is better than what we're saying. If we open up our mind, something is better than nothing. Something's a song that we sing. Something is all I've ever wanted. I'm learning that something can be everything. Just looking at you, looking at me. These are the stories of our lives. To hear that little bird sing takes me back in time. Something is what we're waiting for. Something always always comes in time. Something always holds a question. When searching for the answer, there's something you might find. No more hold on you. Something always shines on through. And anything will never hold on to what you dream, because anything could never be something. Find out what you're searching. Searching always comes in stride. To find out what you're feeling, what it feels to be alive. Something always is beautiful. Something sometimes makes me cry. Something's playing on the radio, and something will always be our life. Our life. Now I'm going to show you some of my guitars. Pretty exciting. I'm very lucky. First one is this is an old Yamaha APX I picked up when I was 15 or 16. This belonged to Mike and Maggie. If anybody is familiar with Mike and Maggie back, they used to play all the elementary schools for the kids. They were a wonderful kids group, and I know they toured and did all kinds of great shows. But this was Mike Tangen's guitar for Mike and Maggie. I bought it for a band I was playing in. We were playing cover tunes and we needed an acoustic guitar, and it plugged in and worked perfectly. I don't play it much anymore, but it's just a really pretty guitar and served its purpose in my day. But pretty to look at, and something I'll never get rid of. So Mike, if you're watching, here's your beautiful blue guitar. Next one is this is the main axe. This one I was very lucky to pick up. I bought this when I was 21, so just getting out of college, and very lucky to have found this guitar. I was shopping all over the place in Minneapolis trying to find the guitar that would fit me best, and the gentleman at the podium in Dinkytown said, "You need a guild," because I like to bend the neck when I play. I love to just kind of give it that bend, and these guitars are built for being on the road and being a tough guitar. And this is the main axe. This is the one I play almost on every show. Obviously you can see it's wearing out. I'm going for the Willie Nelson look I hear a lot, but that's all been accidental again. Most of the things I do are accidental, and I just like the way things sound or the way they come about. So very cool guitar. It gets better every day I play it, no doubt. Everybody's got to have an electric guitar. This one's nothing fancy. I picked this up when I was early teens, just to be in a garage band at the time. But it's just an old Fender Squier Stratocaster. It's been pretty beat up. It doesn't look like it, but it really has been dropped and not taken care of when I was younger. But I'll never sell any of my instruments, so I love to hang on to all of them. It still plays. I record with it once in a while, but just a cool guitar. Kind of that cherry candy apple red. Matches Ash's bandana down here. This guitar is one that I've searched out for a long time, and my wife is the one who actually found it for me. This was on my screensaver for at least 4 or 5 years, and it's another Guild, which is again my favorite guitars. And it's a GAD series, and the only reason I wanted that was it's the same as my other Guild, but it has this cutaway, and I really wanted to have a guitar that I could come up and play more up here, because I was starting to expand into that. Especially doing the multiple capos I've been doing over the last 4 or 5, 6, 7 years, I guess. So I was able to find this guitar, and we were guitar shopping in the cities, and my wife was the one who actually found this on a guitar rack. And she recognized the look of it from the computer screensaver, and I took it home that day. So it's got these beautiful inlays. I don't know if you can get a shot of those, but They look like little snowflakes, little pearl inlays. Really pretty guitar. It plays wonderful. So I use this one on stage. I'm getting more of using it on stage. I'm still working out some electronic pickup issues and stuff, but it works. It does the job, but not quite where I want it yet. And then this one is this is the first guitar I ever really bought. My first acoustic, I should say. Bought it used. The guy who had it only had it for I think a week or a month maybe, and he returned it back in. I don't know why. It's a beautiful guitar. I don't play it much anymore. It fell in the middle of one of my tours. It's got cracks all down the neck, and they had to glue the bridge back together. And so it's all kind of put back together so I could keep touring until I could get a different guitar. But it's a good campfire guitar. This is what I take outside around the campfire. So it's the first guitar I wrote all my first songs on. This is it right here. All my first songs I ever wrote. So this is like an old friend, and just a beautiful, beautiful guitar. And it's just an old Yamaha, and beautiful guitar. And those are my instruments. Okay. Yep. Starting on a new album, hopefully this year. It's been delayed a little bit for various reasons, but it's been an exciting year for me. I know I haven't been out, I guess, playing shows or in the spotlight, I guess, if you want to call it that, for about a year. I did take an intentional, purposely break to kind of regroup for myself, and here we are. We're in my little recording studio that just started about a year ago, clearing out this room and getting it ready for some equipment, and I pretty much live and breathe down in this little nook. This is Tatum Studios. It's a work in progress. Pretty excited about it, and I've probably got about 16 songs recorded for a demo that will come to life when I take it to the big studio, which I'm so excited for. I had a lot of people come down here, work on me with different parts, and I'm able to layer my guitar parts and I feel like I'm becoming a better guitar player because of the studio. So I'm really excited to see what happens, and especially get to play some live shows after I do get after this album. So yeah, there was one big reason I did it, and it's kind of a, when I share this with a lot of my friends and family, it's not the answer that they expect, but I'm not a very good guitar soloist. I've never been able to play a lead part on my shows. In my past recordings, every single one, I've had to hire in a guitar player that comes in with an electric or an acoustic and actually plays the lead guitar solos on all of my albums. Gary Berger has always been a key player in that. He's a really good lead player. So he's played a ton of lead parts on my albums. Eric Addington came up from the city. He's a fantastic songwriter, laid down parts for my last album. So the main goal for me was like, I want to play my own guitar parts. So the new album is, every guitar you hear on the new album, I wanted it to be me, and that's my goal. And in doing so, having my studio set up, the second part is truly that I want the time to sit and actually chisel away at becoming a better guitar player. And I can lay down a basic guitar part in the program, in my studio, and then play it back and sit there. And I think the last one I looked at took me 17 takes, and I finally nailed my guitar solo. So I'm getting there, but that was the main drive for it, was to become a better guitar player. Big studio still for me. The one other thing the studio has taught me, and I'm only a year into this, which I feel is just only a day. There's so much to learn. I have a different respect going into the big studio now. When you're the engineer, engineering yourself as the artist and engineer, I always knew there was a lot going into it. When somebody's setting up your microphones and getting your cables run and setting up the levels for your guitar. But when you're doing it yourself, you do realize there's a lot that goes into it. So I think this new album is going to have a whole different feel for me, as a common respect to all the engineers, co-producers. If there's somebody co-producing something, I think it's going to just feel better for me. So I never have the intention of recording my full-length album in my own studio at this point. That could change. But I still, for me, it's important to be the artist in the studio. In this place, in Tatum Studios, this is a place for me to get ideas and kind of take that canvas and take a paintbrush and just go and just get ideas. And then by the time I go into the studio, I want to have somebody else taking care of, like, why is there a buzz on the speaker? Or why is this not working? So I can stay in my creative brain, if you will, and focus on the song and not the engineering part if something's not working. I like to be more relaxed because it's stressful. When I've been recording in here, I've had something happen and you're like, you got to figure it out. By the time you figure it out, you've completely forgot what you were working on. So long-term goals is still to go to a big studio and basically just get my ideas at home. Biggest learning curve for me is, and it's still in process, is getting the right signal strengths you need to make a good mix. For anybody that knows about mixing and sound levels and noise to signal ratios and all that stuff, it can be kind of a battle sometimes when you're trying to get your vocals to match the guitar part you laid down, or maybe there's a percussion drum part and you're trying to make it all come into one part. That's the biggest thing I've learned, is trying to find the good balance for it. And like I said, it's a work in progress for me, but it's definitely one of the most exciting things I've been doing for a long time. I never thought I'd have my own studio, and so it's definitely a dream come true, and it's fun to have it be a work in progress. It's always changing. So.
Okay, and where did you come up with the name for the studio?
The name came up years ago. I would say probably 15 years ago. My friend Laura had just got a new cat, and I think we were going to go rollerblading or something, and I asked her what her cat's name was, and she said Tatum, and I just loved that name. Just from that moment, I was like, I just love that, the name of that maybe becoming a record label someday. And so I promised her that day, I said, if I ever have a record label or a recording studio, I'm actually going to call it Tatum Studios. Nowadays, it's called Top of the World.
Travel and where they began. Press rewind, look back in time and take a look at me. I'm 3 steps forward, I'm always moving on to better things. It's what I'm doing lately, absolutely crazy. Spread my wings on top of the world. Make the sun shine brighter, to make the moon look wider. Do my dance on top of the world. Yeah, I'm doing my dance on top of the world. Good intentions and strong expressions are something I can't feel. They come on strong, sometimes hard to carry, sometimes hard to steer. Look around, listen to the sound, and just let it in. And take a moment and just own it, and ride the wind. That's what I'm doing lately, absolutely crazy. Spread my wings on top of the world. I'll make the sun shine brighter, to make the moon look wider, and do my dance on top of the world. Yeah, I'm doing my dance on top of the world. It's what we're doing lately, absolutely crazy. Spreading our wings on top of the world. We'll make the sun shine brighter, to make the moon look wider, then do our dance on top of the world. Yeah, you're doing your dance on top of the world. I've been doing my dance on top of the world. Yeah, we're doing a dance on top of the world.
Oh,